Hi, I'm Guy Griffiths from GG Fit, and I want to take 10 minutes or so of your time to talk about member retention in health clubs during this COVID-19 pandemic. We all hope to avoid a second wave of COVID-19 infections, but at the moment, towards the end of May, gym owners and operators, particularly in the UK, are more worried about the second wave of cancellations as we start to think about reopening. Communication is key to any relationship. And I want to just talk through what happened when we closed and sent out that we're closing message, what we've been learning as we go through lockdown, and what's going to happen, and the way I think we should be communicating with members as we look at reopening. So, in terms of the closing message, so that dreaded email went out to all members back in March, towards the end of March. I say all members. Some clubs didn't send it to members who hadn't opted in, which was not right. This is not a GDPR message. It was a legitimate interest email that should have been sent to everyone. So everyone should have been sent this message, and it said things like membership payments have been frozen, i.e. suspended, or some clubs reduced them. Some clubs continued with membership payments. But the point is, this message went out, and a lot of clubs saw this message as the cause for cancellations. 20% or more, actually, at some clubs, cancelled shortly after the message was sent. But I want to show you how it wasn't necessarily the message that caused people to cancel. If we analyze the data and look at the messages sent and compare those open statistics with some statistics on cancellations, we'll see that it wasn't all because the email was sent. And this is an important point because lots of clubs haven't sent any communications since sending this message because they're worried they'll get more cancellations. Now, in actual fact, around 44% of these emails for the clubs that we have sent them, or for the clubs we've analysed, were opened. Normally in the fitness industry, about 19%. So less than 1 in 5 emails are opened. You should be able to do better than that by using good subject lines, and certainly this we're closing message with the payment options or payment frozen was opened by twice as many. But it was also not opened by around the same amount. And interestingly, for me anyway, a lot of these emails bounced. You normally see a bounce rate of around 1 or 2%, maybe as high as 10% for new member messages. Bounce means there's an out of office, or there's some reason the email hasn't even been delivered, let alone opened. So the emails that are opened are obviously opened by engaged members. It's found their inbox, whereas the ones that aren't open or bounced, it's because staff are furloughed, or they're isolating, or they're busy. There was an awful lot of email traffic, not just from gyms. So there's lots of reasons why those emails were not opened, or even worse, not delivered. When we look, though, at the emails that were opened and compare that with the number of those members who cancelled, it's very small. Only around 7% on average of the people who received and opened the message cancelled their membership or cancelled their payments. Compare that with the members who didn't open the email, so maybe didn't know that memberships were being frozen or reduced or whatever else. There was a big cancellation segment in those. And for those people, for the email that bounced, again, they didn't get the message that payments were being cancelled. So you can see the fact that the email was opened actually reduced cancellations, whereas the other people who either didn't read the email or didn't get the email went ahead and cancelled. Looking at that in a different way, you can see, again, it's just a different way of drawing the same data. The emails opened, 7% of those cancelling, whereas those not opened and bouncing, lots more did actually cancel. So what should we do? Well, those people that resent the email to non-openers, maybe the next day or a couple of days later, would see a reduction in cancellations. Those emails that bounced, there's not so much you can do with a bounce. If someone's out of office, it's likely they're still going to be out of office, or if their mailbox is full. So a call or a text or some other way of communicating with these members is important. Just to draw this a third way, yes, 20% cancelled, but let's just look in green, those people who opened the message, blue, those who didn't open it, and then in yellow, those who bounced. And you can see there's only a handful of those green members cancelling, whereas a lot of the blue and yellow proportionally are cancelled. So something to learn from that closing message, and just to reinforce the fact that we should still be communicating with members. Just because there seemed to be a lot of cancellations when we sent that, it wasn't only triggered by the message being sent. So lessons from lockdown: keep speaking to your members. Send them regular updates. I say speak to them, send them messages, send them communications. If you can talk to them, even better. You may not be able to talk to all of them. Surveys are good ways of getting feedback from them. Keep a monitor on your social feeds and continue to measure the engagement of your members, not just opens and bounces and who the email's getting through to, but clicks and real member engagement on your communications as well. And tell them what your plan is. You don't know 100% what the reopening plan is yet. Nobody does. But you have part of the plan together. So tell them what that plan is at the moment. It probably will change. But if you tell your members what the plan is, they'll come back with some feedback. They'll tell you what they think of the plan. They might even help you out with it. While we're in lockdown, it's also a good idea to try some other communications methods. Postcards are great for hard to reach members or even for all members. If you've got a stack of "we miss you" or "wish you were here" postcards, get them out to members, show them some love, cut through the noise of email at the moment. And open a new communications channel, or check that this communication channel is still open to your members. So a nice postcard is good, a nice text message is good as well. Again, either for members that bounced or unopened, or for all members. Again, you're opening a communication channel and you're testing delivery for the next stage. So you're knowing what proportion of members you've got in text number for, a mobile number, and you can test bounce as well. So the third and final part, we're reopening, the exciting thing, the reopening communications plan. So depending on what you've got from your stats through lockdown and from that original message you sent, you could send email if your stats are good enough. If you're getting over 50% open rate, then and good engagement, then you could send an email. Or you might send an email and a postcard as a precursor, a warning to what's coming next, because we suggest sending out text messages. 98% of them are opened within 10 minutes. And if you get some messages in there with quick responses, reply freeze to keep your membership on freeze for another month. Give your members options, get them to interact with you over a quick text message, and you'll get a response from them. Some members will want to stay on freeze. They'll still be furloughed. They won't be able to afford a membership yet. But it's better to have them on freeze than it is to have them cancel their membership. Freeze for another month or two is someone that you can easily turn back on when they are ready. You might put a time limit on the freeze. You might have some kind of priority booking or a paid freeze option. And freeze may or may not include access to your app going forwards. The point is, without communication, there is no relationship. So it's really important now, more than ever, to communicate with your members. Keep in touch with them, or they will cancel. And if you treat your members with empathy and with respect, they will give you feedback and they will help you with your reopening plan. If you give them options on reopening to come back as soon as possible, or to freeze their membership, or whatever other options you have, they will be back when they're ready. So I hope this was useful and that you enjoyed it. Please give the video or the post a thumbs up or a like, or even better, please share it. If you have any questions, drop me an email there, guy@ggfit.com, or pop me a LinkedIn request. I would love to hear from you. And yes, good luck with your communications reopening. We will get there.